Most men think that when a woman is shouting, the relationship is in trouble. But the truth is much more terrifying. The real danger isn't when she's loud, it's when she finally goes quiet. And by the time Mark realized why Sarah had stopped fighting, it was already too late. Meet Mark and Sarah. They've been married for 7 years. To their friends, they were the golden couple. Mark was a high-energy sales executive, charismatic, a fixer, and someone who hated drama. Sarah was a landscape architect, deeply intuitive, and someone who valued emotional depth over surface-level peace. Mark loved Sarah, but he had a fatal flaw. He viewed her emotions as a series of technical glitches that needed to be debugged. Whenever Sarah was upset, Mark's brain would go into efficiency mode. He thought he was being a good husband by staying calm and logical.
Sarah, you're clearly overreacting. If you just look at the facts, you'll see this isn't a big deal. To Mark, he was providing a solution. To Sarah, he was providing an execution. Every time he told her she was irrational, he was effectively telling her that her reality didn't matter. They had been stuck in this cycle for years. Sarah would get upset about something, the lack of help with the kids, the feeling of being low on his priority list, and Mark would respond with a checklist of reasons why she shouldn't feel that way. He was the king of what not to do, but he was too busy being right to see that he was losing. The first sign that this wasn't just another argument happened on a rainy Tuesday. Sarah had come home exhausted, her eyes red. She started to talk about a betrayal at work, a project she had poured her soul into that had been handed to someone else. Instead of listening, Mark did the one thing you should never do when she's mad. He interrupted her to tell her how she could have handled the meeting better.
You're doing it again, Mark.
Doing what? I'm helping you. If you just listen to my advice, this won't happen next time.
Sarah didn't argue, she didn't cry. She just stood up, washed her coffee mug, and walked out of the room. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was a vacuum. And for the first time in 7 years, Mark felt a cold shiver of uncertainty. What happens when the woman who always fights for your attention suddenly stops caring if she has it? For the next 3 days, Sarah was a ghost. She was polite, she made dinner, she asked about his day, but she was gone. Mark tried his usual tactics. He tried to logic her out of her silence.
Sarah, this silent treatment is immature. It's not productive. We need to sit down and rationally discuss why you're acting this way.
But then, Sarah did something she had never done. She handed him a folder. Inside wasn't a divorce petition. It was a printed log of their last 6 months of arguments. But it wasn't the words that caught his eye. It was the dates. Every time she had expressed anger, he had responded with one of 3 things: logic, dismissal, or a fix. What happened next was a descent into Mark's own realization. He realized that by trying to fix her anger, he was actually telling her she wasn't allowed to have it. He was practicing emotional gaslighting. He tried to apologize, but even his apology was a fix.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I'll try to be better. Can we go back to normal now?
That's the problem, Mark. Your normal is a place where I don't exist. You don't want a wife, you want a roommate who doesn't have feelings.
The tension in the house reached a breaking point. Mark began to notice things disappearing. A suitcase from the attic, her favorite painting from the hallway. He realized that Sarah wasn't just mad, she was mourning. She was grieving the relationship while she was still in it. He was desperate. He tried to buy her flowers, he tried to book a trip, he tried to be extra nice, but he was still doing everything except the one thing she actually needed. The explosion happened on Friday night, not with a scream, but with a suitcase. Mark found Sarah in the bedroom, packing.
Sarah, stop. This is irrational. We can fix this. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
That's it, isn't it? tell me what to do. You still want a checklist. You still want to manage the situation. You don't want to feel my pain, Mark. You just want it to stop so you can feel comfortable again.
In that moment, Mark finally stopped being the fixer. The blueprints for his perfect, logical life crumbled. He saw the years of dismissed tears, the thousands of times he told her she was crazy for being hurt. He realized that every time he won an argument, he was losing his wife.
I was so afraid of your anger because I didn't know how to handle it, so I tried to kill it. I thought if I could prove you were wrong, you'd stop hurting. But I was the one hurting you.
He didn't offer a solution. He didn't offer a fact. He just sat on the edge of the bed and said, "I'm sorry I made you feel invisible for 7 years. If you leave, I understand. But please, just let me sit here and feel this with you for 1 minute." Sarah didn't unpack the suitcase that night, but she didn't leave either. They spent the next 4 hours doing what Mark had avoided for a decade. They sat in the mess. Mark learned the hardest lesson a man can learn. Validation is more important than ventilation. He stopped trying to fix the problem and started acknowledging the person. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. They had months of therapy ahead of them, but the silent exit had been diverted. Mark realized that when she's mad, she doesn't want your logic, your solutions, or your calm demeanor. She wants your presence. She wants to know that her heart is safe in your hands, even when it's breaking. The biggest mistake you can make when she's mad is trying to win. In a marriage, if one person wins, the relationship loses. Stop trying to prove she's overreacting. Stop trying to fix her feelings like they're a broken appliance. Just listen. Validate her reality. Because if you don't acknowledge her anger, eventually you won't have to worry about it anymore, because she'll be gone. Mark almost lost Sarah because he valued his logic over her heart. Do you think Sarah was right to pack her bags, or should she have given him more time to change? Let me know what you would have done in the comments below.
Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Strong Marriage Secrets to stay connected and receive more insightful videos on love, marriage, and building a healthy relationship.